Hi there everybody, it's UK independent demonstrator Halsey here from slimandstylish.com. Thank you for joining me today. Happy Sunday. Hope you're all okay. I'm just going to find me live over on my iPad so that I can see all the comments. Hi Colleen, good morning. You okay? You were on time. Let's wait for a few others to pop on. Hi everybody. Happy Sunday. Hi Karen, I've just seen your message pop through on my phone, but it was already on my mount. The answer was yes. Oh, glad you're doing well, Colleen. So today's tutorial, I've actually done a little bit of a case from my upline, Sam Hammond-Donald from Poodles. I've changed her measurements just a slight bit. My box is a little bit taller than Sam's, hers is shorter. But I think that was so that she could do it for US cardstock, because I think your cardstock is it 8 inches clean rather than 8 1/4. So mine is actually going to be a little bit bigger, but I have got Sam's measurements if you do have smaller cardstock. And anyone who's looked online at my instructions and cut your paper exactly, well done. I made a mistake with the instructions. Not a problem. It's actually smaller than what you've cut rather than bigger than what you've cut. So it is, I put 8 3/8 of an inch online. It's actually 8 3/16. So I've got my measurements there, and what I've actually got is I've got Sam from Poodles measurements just below. So if you have smaller cardstock, oh, you have 8 1/2. Oh, that's good. So 8 3/16 will fit in. Oh, that's good then. So we can all craft along together. That's nice. So the actual card base is 8 3/16 of an inch by 8 3/16 of an inch. Yeah, Karen, we knew I was going to make a mistake, so I've done it before the video now, so through the video should be seamless. And the actual DSP is 10.5 centimetres by 3 centimetres. And I'm using the In Good Taste DSP, which I really quite like. It's like a bit like a paint board or plasterer's board, I suppose, something like that. So I've done this one in the Rocio Rose one. Hi Shirley, thanks for joining. I'm going to be doing this one in the Night and Navy colour, and they also have this one here, which I think is probably like a crumb cake running through, but I was actually thinking that if I did another one I would do it in So Saffron with it, because I think that would make it quite nice and bright, because there's not much colour in that texture. I'm actually going to use this one for the tutorial today and team it up with Night and Navy. I've already got it cut, but I am worrying that I followed my own instructions. No, I haven't. I have cut it 8 3/16 of an inch by 8 3/16 of an inch. Hiya Ivy. Ready to get started? Who's crafting along with us today? Let us know if you're crafting along. The sentiment is from the Prized Peony set, which I just think is gorgeous. Your sweet friendship refreshes the soul. I love that. And I've got this crinkled seam binding, and I actually did some punching of my flower. I love that little punch. I think everything I'm going to do from now on is going to have one of those little flowers on them. So let's get started. For those of you who joined us, I've put our measurements here, and I'm really hoping you can see them, but if not, I will take a picture of them and put them in the group. So Slim and Stylish's Crafty Hangout. If you're not a member, come and have a join. If you are a member, I will pop those in. And there is also a version with a smaller base, because this is a case and a little bit of an amendment from one of Sam's tutorials, and I've put her measurements there. Okay, so let's get started. I've also added my website. If you're based in Europe and don't have a demonstrator and like anything that I'm using, you can always purchase it from my website. So Oh, you're joining in, Shirley. Great. Hopefully 8 3/16 of an inch. So if you did listen to my instructions that I put out everywhere saying 8 3/8, just have a little trim. I think I'm just used to doing everything in 1/8 of an inch rather than in 1/16 of an inch, so apologies. So what you want to do is you want to score it all the way round at 2 7/8 of an inch. If you're working on the smaller base and your cardstock is cut at 7 7/16 of an inch, then cut it round at 2.5. That's Sam's instructions. Mine is 8 3/16, and you score it round at 2 7/8. So once you've scored the one side, turn it and go again. Hey Janice. We have just had the most delightful storm. It is so hot here this week. It's been really, really warm. We had a lovely storm and I thought, oh, it's gone cooler, that's good. And it's just starting to build up and go really, really warm again. But I can't have my fan on when I'm filming because it's so noisy. You'd never hear me, which is probably a good thing. So you want to fold and burnish all your lines. Wow. Sounds really weird for me to say, do you want to swap feet, Janice? But it's so warm here. I was on Zoom calls with work last week, and I must have had 3 or 4 in a day, and I had to turn the fan off each time, and people must have thought she's getting really shirty on these calls. I wasn't. I was just like, I want my fan back on. Hurry up and finish. So once you've burnished that one, leave it, and while we've got the scoreboard out, we'll score the DSP as well at the same time. Hi to anyone who's just joined us. Noticed a few more have just come in. So this card base here is 8 3/16 of an inch by 8 3/16 of an inch, and I've just scored it all the way round at 2 7/8 of an inch. Okay, if you are crafting along, just let me know and I can repeat those if needed, but I'm just going to pop that to the side. That's Night and Navy, and we're using the In Good Taste DSP, which is from the Tasteful Textures set, but I've used that flower so many times that I thought I'll go with Prize Peony today for a change. So I actually want to use this textured side of the paper, so I'm going to turn it the other way round for scoring purposes. Hi Carol, thanks for joining. So this one here is 10.5 inches by 3 inches. I got the measurements of this right, so I'm quite happy. And you want to score it at 2.5 inches, 5 inches, 7.5 inches and 10 inches. Quite simple, 2.5 all the way through. Give it a little bit of a turn. If you are doing this with DSP that is patterned and you want to have it facing upwards on your box, so I mean, it doesn't matter which way this one goes, but if I had a pattern that would say a person, I wanted their head up here and their legs down there, then you want to put the top bit on this side, so the head would be up here and the legs would be down here, and then just flip it over like that. Okay, so then you want to score it at 1 inch and 2.5 inches, and this thin bit here, that will be the top, so that will be the right way round. Score for the DSP, Karen Short. So it's 10.5 inches by 3 inches, and you want to score it at 2.5, 5, 7.5 and 10. So at 2.5 inch intervals. And I did it earlier and I hadn't actually cut it at 10.5 inches. I'd left it at 12 and I was thinking, what's all this extra paper doing? But I remembered to chop it this time. And then when you turn it round, you want to score it at 1 inch and 2.5 inches. But just remember to have the top part of your paper, the bit that you want to be facing upwards on this side, so that that little 1/2 inch there is at the very top. Hiya Hilary, thanks for joining. Hope you're okay. Hello Cindy. Thanks Janice, that's really appreciated. If people could give me a little, you know, thumbs up. Thank you. So I'm just going to fold that in and burnish it. And then this end as well. I'm doing it delicately because I find I'm really rough with the paper. Too heavy-handed. Hi Sophia, thanks for joining. What are you cooking today? Normally when Sophia joins us at this time, she's normally in the kitchen. So what's for dinner? Fold them all in. Oh, Colleen, I'm going to steal you. I'm going to travel to America and kidnap you and bring you over here. So nice. Burnish along. Okay, so we should have that one all done and burnished. And this one. You wish. She doesn't know us. We would do it. I keep telling my mum actually, I've been to America a few times and I love it. I really like how big everything is and the space. And I've driven in America as well and I wasn't too scared. So I've kept telling her that she'd love to go and the food over there is amazing. And then she was due a new hip this year, so we said that we would put it on our bucket list for next year, and we do like a bit of a tour around. But obviously with the COVID at the moment and the flights and everything, we're not sure. So we said instead we will save up and do like a super duper American trip in a few years' time instead. So we'll pop by and pick you up, Colleen. Right. So with your snips, you don't need to do any cutting on the top, so you can pop that to the side. With this bit here as your base, and this is the same whether you've done my larger measurements or whether you've done the smallest measurements, and you want to snip directly up. And if you've got slightly deeper snips, it would be quite easy because you want to make sure you go straight up there. And I find sometimes my little snips, while they're really nice, the Stampin' Up snips, they're really sharp and they're quite good for paper, when you have to go a long way. But you could always use your trimmer if you haven't got a steady hand. And you want to tab in. And also this is going to be really big. It's actually going to go over where you want to fold it in. So just cut that down there. Hi everyone that's joining us. I noticed we've had a few more pop in. Say hello, let us know you're here. And if you're crafting along and want to join in, this card base is 8 3/16 of an inch by 8 3/16 of an inch, and I've scored it round at 2 7/8 of an inch, and I'm just on the chopping section. Go straight up there. As I said, straight hands. There we go. Oh, I'm there, Colleen. I'll let you know what day. We'll rent it out. So instead of doing this one the same, you want to turn it and cut it again. So it'll kind of create a windmill. I keep calling these a windmill cut. I don't really know what they are. If might not even be a name for them, but it reminds me of one of those child windmills that they stick in the garden and the wind takes it round. Janice is online. She knows the name for everything. Is it a windmill cut, Janice? But you want to do it so that each one has a tab. So this one's tab will be this one. So turn it and go again. I make up names. Oh, Sophia's not cooking yet. I have just been a real, I'm trying to think of a nice way to put it, but I can't think of a really nice way to put it. So I've just been a real piglet. The other night was film night and I opened this great big bag of popcorn and poured myself a bowl and literally got through the bowl straight away, and then made myself feel a bit, you know, because I'd eaten too much. So there was still like half a bag of popcorn left. So I sat this afternoon and ate all the popcorn. So I don't think I'm having tea tonight because I'm full. If anyone says, what did you have for dinner yesterday? I'll be like, popcorn. Such a bad person. It was very nice. Just discovered sweet and salted popcorn. So that was a little bit of a delight. Normally I'm a salted person, but sweet and salted was lovely together. Just move those out of the way. We have these, as demos, we can get these lovely little pop-up bins from Stampin' Up, and they just like pop up like that. And I've got them and I never think to put them up, and I get to the end of my videos and there is like paper everywhere. So today I've put one up and I'm determined to keep using it. So if you see me brush my scraps to the side, tell me off. Tell me to put it in my bin bag. So I'm going to pop my adhesive on all of these sections and start folding in. And I'm using the Stampin' Up Stampin' Seal Plus. I can see that's going to be a real mouth tease. I'm glad they've got like a new one for card, and I like how it sits, but trying to say Stampin' Seal Plus is going to be a little bit of a nightmare. Now, if you were previously a fuse person, let me give you a handy little tip with this. You pull it off by going up, straight up. When you used to use the fuse and you went across to the side, it used to pull it off, but this actually pulls the tape off the runner and it comes off the side, and you have to then fiddle it back. So as opposed to the fuse, just pull up with this, and it works really well by going straight up. Lesson learned. What movie did we watch? Well, we were going to watch on a Friday night, because I'm a sucker for musicals and I think I can sing and I can't. So I put on these musicals and try and sing along. But I don't feel sorry because the guys next door always watch the football and shout at goals. So if they can hear my bad singing, I don't feel guilty about it at all. But yeah, we normally watch the Show Must Go On. So every Friday they stream a live musical. So we were planning on watching that, but then realised they had a repeat this week. So it was Sound of Music, and we had Sound of Music a couple of weeks ago. So instead we switched onto the film channel and Devil Wears Prada was on. So we watched that instead. Very good. I like a little bit of Meryl Streep, so that was our evening. I still can't believe that Emily Blunt is Mary Poppins. Emily Blunt in Devil Wears Prada does not look anything like Mary Poppins. So, yeah. Yeah, it is really nice, Shirley. And I only got it because they were out of salted popcorn. And I thought, oh, well, I'll try this. It's a mixture of both. I think I've been converted now. It was really, really nice. Oh, no, I didn't eat it for breakfast. Crumpets for breakfast this morning. So there's my box. Are those that are crafting along caught up? Just because there's a bit of sticking on this bit and I wouldn't like to rush across with this bit. Yeah, you've all caught, Karen? Brilliant. So I'm using my tear and tape for this one because it's a lot easier. Hey, Sharon. Thanks for joining. That's okay. Oh, Shirley. I've done that too. I feel this has gone from Sophia's really healthy eating to me trying to corrupt you all. Right, so with this top bit up here, the very, very small bit, the 1/2 inch bit, you want to run your tear and tape the full length of it, but up here, so you see this has the 1/2 inch and this is the 2.5 inch up here. Up this bit you don't want to go all of the way, so you kind of want to start, if I turn right round, you want to start about there, just about 1/2 inch off. You will see why in a minute. Because when you actually fold this in, that's going to go there, and you don't want to cover your tear and tape, otherwise you'll never get it off. Okay, so that's where your first bit of sticky strip or tear and tape needs to go. And I'm using this because I can show you and then take the backing off. If I use a tape runner, it gets a bit tricky because you also need to put glue on the other side. Okay, so over on this side, there's 3 bits you want to stick. Do you know, I have never tried Pop-Tarts. I always thought they were very like an American thing. You couldn't get them here, but you can get them here, but I've never tried them. I have to have a look at. So this bit here that is just 1/2 inch at the end, the thin little tab bit, you want to pop it in there. And you want to put full strip along there as well as in there. Is that because you realised I've got a sweet tooth, Shirley? But yeah, they do look like something I would like. I don't know why I've never tried them. Now, on these bits, okay, so you've got the thin 1/2 inch there, this bit here and this bit here, so this end one and this one, you want to pop your sticky strip along there, but not on the first and second, so first and third. So you want to go onto this second panel here and this final one here, and you want to pop your sticky strip straight across like that, and then also on this one. So you can all join in this discussion. Now I've got you all on foods. Crumpets. We were discussing these the other day. I've always had crumpets with butter on, but one of my friends, and she's up north, I don't know if it's like a northern area thing, I don't know, or whether it's just a preference thing. She makes hers like a full breakfast, and she puts on cheese and bacon. That's very savoury to me. I always thought they were a butter thing. Does anyone else do that? Okay, so before you stick this down, I'd recommend that you now pull off all of the sticky strip bits. It's up to you though. The first bit you want to stick down is this, but I find it easier to pull it off before I've assembled it. But it does result in you getting your hands stuck inside your card. Butter, I agree with you, Karen. Cheese, I'm still not sure about. Marmite is a definite no. I'm a hater. Hater. Never got Marmite. My brother would love that though. Oh. And when we were younger, he just used to be able to eat Marmite on its own. Oof. Oh, Sophia's a Marmite. Yeah, see, jam makes sense, Norma. I could believe jam. That does sound, that's made sense. Yeah, a crumpet is a... no, it's not really like bread, but it is kind of like bread. That's very bad. It's like a fat Scotch pancake. I'll say it like that. So someone else on here will be able to give you a much better idea of what it is. Really bad at describing things. But next time I see you, Ivy, I will bring you one. Right. So once you've stuck that together, you've got a very sticky bit up here that's got glue on the top and glue on the sides. Okay. So you want to push it together and you want to push it in on the glue bit. So just above the glue, you want to push it in. Okay. And you want this corner here to meet this corner over here. And you're going against the paper a bit, so you need to actually give it a push, not drop it like I've just done. Okay, like that. Wendy, I'm a lots of butter person. I do that thing when the butter melts, I then run the crumpet around the plate. Yes, close to an English muffin. That's really good, Cindy. Did I not score you? Or have I just got distracted by food? So... come back out. There we go. Make sure you've scored every part of your your box before you go. Otherwise it's just going to do that. Can't believe I didn't score it. Sorry, burnish it. Daft. All the food and popcorn talk have distracted me. So then that will just go on your box. Like that. And now I've got the box there, I'm going to use that to push my way through. So that's your box. How's yours going, Karen? The holes are for the butter to seep through, Ivy. It's amazing. Honestly, next time we have a crafting event, Ivy, you're getting crumpets. Oh, it's lovely to see you, Shirley. See you soon. Hiya, Kay. Thanks for joining. So there we go. That's the top of that. Now I've got my seam binding ribbon and a piece of scrap paper, which you can tell I used for the earlier box. So anyone who's joined since, this is what we're making. We're part way there. So I did a slightly different technique with my ribbon. Instead of just doing it all with the one colour, and I'm not sure if you can see that, I did it partly with a light, partly with a dark, and left part of it white. so that it looks really mottled. And I thought then it went really well with the top piece of paper. Ordinarily on its own, I think it looks messy, but with this paper, I just thought it fit. So what I did was I started off with the light, and I guesstimated roughly how long it was going to be because it was annoying me still having it on the roll. So I had a bit of a guesstimate as to how long I wanted my ribbon to be. And I used the light night of navy. Well, on this one I used ratio rose, but on this one I'm using the light night of navy first. And instead of actually colouring it all, I'm just, look how messy this is. This is definitely not a me type of doing the ribbon. I'm just messing this all up. We're all talking about breakfasts, Kay. I turned it into a bit of a food session. Okay, and then the dark night of navy. I put quite a bit of the dark on, and I went in the middle where I hadn't got, and just tried to run it in lines. I just wanted to make the ribbon really mottled. What I could have done, if I'd have had more time to do it and dry it, would be to pop it in a bag, pop a little bit of re-inker in it, mix it round, and then quickly pull it back out again before it had got all of it dyed, and that would have made a really sort of nice tie-dye effect on the ribbon. But I didn't really have time to wait for it to dry and to be messy. I was messy last week. That card I did last week took me ages to get my hands back clean. Okay. So it's kind of like a mottled ribbon. And I just thought, I mean, that on a normal card you probably wouldn't like because it's all different. But with this paper, I just thought it fit. Right. So I'm just going to pop this on. So I'm glad I've started this conversation by saying I feel really full today. If I was hungry, my tummy would be going, well, I want that, I want that. I've got lemon drizzle cake here now. Proper foodie session today. Now, we'll see if the ribbon plays right for me. Earlier, the ribbon went on upside down, so the tails were at the top and the little bunny ears were at the bottom, which I was unimpressed with. But I took the lid off my box. So this was the other way around. So I took this off my box, turned it round and popped it back on. Shh. No one knows unless I tell them. Make it into a small bow. There we go. So, thanks, Colleen. See, I just thought it matched the paper so well being like that. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it with the tails for a moment and pop the sentiment on so I can see exactly then how long I want to cut it. So for the sentiment, I've got a piece of Whisper White, or I did, so I'll grab a big one. It's not often you see me do this, a full sheet. Normally I have loads of little scraps that I'm using up. So Prize Peony, Your Sweet Friendship Refreshes the Soul. That's the one I'm using, and I'm doing it in Smoky Slate. Oh, poppy seed muffins, I could get on that because I couldn't have lemon because I'm allergic to it. But poppy seed muffins I could definitely have, and they sound gorgeous. My mum's a big fan of the lemon drizzle cake though, and she makes it. And when I can smell it, oh, it smells lovely. So I've actually used the peony around the edge. This was thanks to you, by the way, Sophia. I had the peony out. Sophia did a live on Facebook earlier. Her Facebook is Forest Crafts, and she did a really nice piece of cardstock, and she stamped it all over with these bright coloured flowers. But I had prize peony on my block because I've been crafting along with her, so that's why I used that today. So I'm going to punch this first so I can see where I want to position my flower. There we go. And I'm going to grab my scrap piece of DSP paper, Night and Navy ink, and because Night and Navy is quite dark, I'm going to stamp it off on the scrap piece of paper first, and then stamp it onto where my sentiment is, so that it doesn't block out the sentiment. And I'm going to do exactly the same and put it on the bottom. There we go. Now for the little flower, I used the scrap Night and Navy cardstock that came off the wings of the base, and the scrapbook bit of this, which I think I left in my guillotine, so I will be 2 seconds. There it is. Because the sheet's actually 12 inches and I only need 10.5, so I had this 1.5 inches at the end that was left. So the cute little flowers, I love these. I'm going to stamp one out of there. And one out of here, but I'm going to look for the bit that's got the most blue on so that it makes sort of sense. And then I have a huge, massive, great big piece of foam. I want to say this was delivered with a Stamparatus, but I'm not 100% sure. It was delivered with something, but it's really great if you don't have one of the foam mats to just push up your flowers. So if you use the end of your piercing tool, and I find if you just go around in little circles, it doesn't crack the paper. If you just push down straight away, it kind of folds in on itself. It's looks a bit bent then. So then I'm just going to use Stampin' Seal. Pop a little bit in the corner of the flower, in the middle of the flower. And pop that on. There's my flower. Just going to pop a rhinestone in the middle, and I used one of the big fat ones. There we go. Seriously, they're going to be on every card now. Whenever I make anything, that's what's going to be on there. So for this one, I actually hung it over the top of the lid, so that the lid slides on and off underneath it. So to do that, throw my box around. You just want to pop them, make sure the dimensionals are on the bottom half, not on the top, so down here. Yes and no, Colleen. It's featured in the new catalogue, in the annual catalogue. And it's the first time it's appeared in there, but it was actually in Celebration. So it was, I think it was one of the double spend free punches, but it's carried over and it's now in the annual catalogue. And there is a matching stamp set for it, which is, I think it's just adorable. It's this one. And these flowers here coordinate with the punch. But it reminds me a little bit of the Petite Petals. It's a bit bigger, but it does remind me of those, and I really miss those, so I was quite glad it was around. So let's stick that on my box. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a dimensional, take the top off it already, and stick it on my piercing tool. Now, you could have done this a lot easier. I've made this complicated. You could have stuck this underneath when you had this off, but I forgot about doing that, so I'm doing it sort of lastminute.com, as you do. I'm popping it underneath. And you want to stick it so it's like that, so you can still see it on that side. I'm just then going to stick the flower on it so the flower stands up as well. Like that. Couple of rhinestones for the top. Oh, I thought I put 2 on, but I obviously only put 1 on. I meant to put 2 on. Put 1 on. And then cut that bit of ribbon. There we go. There's my boxes. And yeah, like I said, there was another piece of DSP that was just like this in the same pack. So this is the Tasteful Touches DSP. No, In Good Taste, which is part of the Tasteful Touches suite. And there was this one. It was a bit more neutral. And like I said, I done it with a yellow, but you could do it with a crumb cake or an early espresso, anything like that. In fact, it would work with any colour really because it's so neutral. But I like the little colour pops in these. I thought they were lovely. Yeah. How's those who've been crafting along with them been getting on? If you like the DSP and you're in the Europe area and you don't have a demonstrator, I actually have one of my DSP paper shares still free. So if you would like to get them, just drop me a message and I will send you the details for that one. If you are looking for any of the products I've used today, you can get them from my store if you're in the Europe region, and that's slimandstylish.com. And I will also take a picture of these and pop them in the Slim and Stylish's Crafty Hangout. So if you're not a member of the group, go along, send me a friend request, send a request into the group. It's on Facebook, and I'll add you in. And yeah, share all your projects. Let me see what you've been making. And if you've crafted along today, do let me see. There's some albums in there. And if anyone's technical or clever with IT, which apparently I'm not, I can't create albums in my own group. Facebook tells me I'm not authorised, but I'm the admin and moderator of the group, so I don't know how that works. But at the moment, Karen Tilley, who's on and crafting along, is having to make my albums for me. Just can't do it. So if anyone knows why that is, just please let me know. But yeah, do come along and join us, and I'll see you again at 4 o'clock next week. If there's anything you want to see, any techniques, any ideas, just let me know. If I don't know it, I'll have a research on it and try and do it. And we can have a laugh when I fail, you know. But thanks for all joining. Have a good rest of the Sunday. Oh yeah, sorry, Norma. So when people open it, they just lift the top. So even though this is over it, they just lift the top up. And it's 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. So you can fit quite a bit in there. But I had thought first of all of making like a little tray to put them both in, but then I put the flower on the bottom and thought if I put a tray on, the flower's going to fall off. But I did actually make a project like this a few years ago, and I had 12 little, they were littler than this, milk cartons, and I popped them into a tray. So you had 6 on this side and 6 on this side, and I gave them for a baby shower. And I had in there, I was trying to think earlier actually, I was listing out the different things I had in. They were basically a baby survival kit, and there was a rubber in there so that you could rub out any mistakes, and a paper clip so you could pull things together. There was there was a little baby sock, but only one, because apparently you keep losing them all. There was some paracetamol for the headaches when the baby cries, and I was trying to think of the 12 different things I put in. I know I did put in a condom to save you having another, but there was 12 little boxes, and I can't think what were in the others. I might have to message my friend now and try and work out what was in them. But yeah, so can't have a tray anyway because of the flowers. But thank you all for joining. Those that's crafted along, let me see your projects, and have a lovely week, and I'll see you all next weekend. Thanks everybody. Bye.